It's just yours. Thank you and welcome everyone. That was Jay Schwed, and he's playing the bowls for us, and we're going to hear a little bit more of him in just a little while. But I'd like to get us going and start us up here. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good to see all your smiling faces here. And we are here to receive and radiate spiritual energy. Just a few practical points. If this is your first time, or if you're already on our mailing list and you have some changes, please let us know. If you can send us an email, if you want to be put on our email list, so you'll be receiving the Spiritual Unity Movement flyer that comes out every month, and you'll know what's going on. And our SUM email address is sumfullmoon@gmail.com. Again, that's sumfullmoon@gmail.com. So tonight we are here to celebrate the spiritual unity of all life and raise the consciousness of light and love through community meditation and education, and to inspire and empower those who attend the world healing meditation ceremonies and all of humanity with the life-transforming experience of healing, oneness, and unity. We are saving our planet from the inside. Oh-ho! Wow. So tonight's theme is Autumn Song, and it is going to be a beautiful autumn song. So I am now going to turn it over to Liz for our message of the moon.
Really? That happens right now?
Yes, it does.
I feel like we're going out of order, but here we go. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you're all here. Okay, I was trying to check our email to make sure everybody's that wants to get on is able to. Okay, so most of you know this is the harvest full moon, right? This is known as the harvest full moon, and it is oftentimes considered a particularly lucky full moon. It seems bright. It seems really bright, right? Because it occurs very close to the autumn equinox. Full moons always symbolize a time of conclusion, of things coming together that were set in motion at the new moon, but it's felt even more deeply now as we near the changing seasons, right? And the cooler months are coming. I mean, it was a little warm today and it's going to be that way tomorrow, but the cooler months are coming, and, you know, we're beginning to turn inward. This is a time of balance for each of us, just as it is for the natural world around us. We feel the coming of the darkness, right? And we're pulled towards our spiritual nature in a different way. So embrace that, right? Embrace that time now. This particular full moon spiritual meaning is all about balance and abundance, right? It is a time to honor and appreciate your home. It's a time for reflection and gratitude. The sun is in Virgo and the moon is in Taurus. These two zodiac signs really value the simple things in life. Their practical mindset helps them to focus on reality and the ability to create their own reality by actually getting things done properly. If you know a Virgo, you know what I'm talking about. These zodiac signs, these zodiac signs are known for their ability to strategize and organize, making them the perfect pair when it comes to creating routine and sticking to the plan, right? It's rare to see a refined Virgo and an elegant Taurus act super loud, wild, dramatic, because they believe staying grounded is what it's all about. Right? These are two really grounded signs. And they share a lot of values. For example, it's beyond important to Taurus and Virgo that they maintain the plan and that they keep to their promises. Taurus will always stand by their word and Virgo will always show up with the goods. And they value loyalty. Both those signs value loyalty above all else. I personally love a Virgo and a Taurus, and they are grounded, beautiful, and loyal to a fault. So right now, it's a really wonderful time to realign with our spirit, soul, and self. September's full moon helps to settle us into a much slower pace and rhythm. Immerse yourself and enjoy these last days of warmth so that you gladly enter into the darkness of winter. Namaste.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you so much. Excuse me. And now I would like to bring up Burl. He's going to be doing our opening rituals.
Good evening, everyone. We ask that you now shut down any electronic devices or distractions that you may have in your vicinity and be with us totally as we go through this ceremony. We begin our full moon meditation this evening with an invocation. Great Father, Mother, God and Goddess, be with us here now. Hold this space sacred from which we may do our work. Open our hearts to your golden light that we may radiate love into the hearts of all. Open our minds to your divine knowing that we may radiate understanding into the minds of all. Open our spirits to your infinite presence that we may radiate awareness into the spirits of all. One heart, one mind, one spirit, unlimited and indivisible. Be still and know I am God. Acknowledging that the Spirit is one and the paths to God are many, in our opening ritual, we will honor the world's religions and the many names of God with a quote from each religion on the topic of love. A bell will be rung and a candle lit as the name of divinity is sounded for each of the major religions of the world, after which we will sound the Om. Om is an ancient sacred tone, a deepening. Sounding the Om allows an intoning of grace, balance, empowerment, and there is no right or wrong way. Simply relax into your own tone, open to the nuances of this sacred sound as it moves through you. And I might add at this point, please make sure you're on mute, oming for yourself as we all om together, but remotely. A bell will be rung and a candle lit as the name of divinity is sounded for each of the major religions of the world, after which we will sound the Om. Our opening ritual will conclude when all of us are sounding several times the Om, each in our own note, in our own time, in a continuing free-form rhythm, creating a tapestry of healing sound. We honor all religions as expressions of the one God, Great Spirit, Divine Essence. May a wellspring of love find in each of us an unimpeded channel. Om. In the sacred tradition of Taoism, the Tao, Spirit arms us with love. Om. It's not going to work. In the sacred tradition of Hinduism, Ishvara, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, one best worships the Lord through love. Om. In the tradition of the sacred in the feminine, the goddess in all her forms, Divine Mother loves, nurtures, and sustains all. Om. In the sacred tradition of Buddhism, Lord Buddha, cultivate a heart of love. Om. In the sacred tradition of Judaism, Adonai, Elohim, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and your neighbor as yourself. Om. In the sacred tradition of Christianity, God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. God is love. In the sacred tradition of First Nations people of all lands, love is the medicine that holds all life together. Om. In the sacred tradition of Islam, Allah, this is love, to fly toward a secret sky, to cause 100 veils to fall each moment. Om. In the sacred tradition of all other religions, and you may now together say any additional names of divinity that you would like to invoke. Om. And now for our opening meditation. Let us now uncross our legs, close our eyes if they are not already closed. Take a long, deep breath in and out, and in and out. As you take another deep breath, relax and let go of the day. Let go of the people, the challenges, and just be. When you are ready, put your feeling attention into your heart center and relax. Imagine a bright, warm sun floating above your head. Its rays are emanating down into the crown of your head. The sun is releasing a pure white light. This light is floating down, filling your head, your neck. It floats across your shoulders, down your arms, out your hands. It fills your torso. Your organs are enveloped with the pulsating, purifying light of the sun. As the sunlight continues to float down your body, through your legs, and out through the bottoms of your feet, it washes away all impurities and imperfection, all pain and disease, deep into the central core of the earth. Your body is filled with divine energy. Right now, you are whole, perfect, and complete. As the light continues to energize, pulsate, and vibrate, allow it to expand out through your auric field. It fills the first layer, and now the next, the second layer, and now the third layer, about 4 feet around you. As you continue to feel the perfection of your light body, allow it to expand, fill the room you're in with divine essence. Continue to expand your awareness and divine essence out of the room you're in, and imagine and intend that you are now permeating all of Los Angeles with pure divine essence. Expand your awareness to all California, all the United States. Allow it to float out across the globe, enveloping Mother Earth and all her beings with pure divine essence. The white light of perfection is now vibrating and pulsating, connecting all beings on the planet who gather with conscious intent to heal, balance, harmonize, and unify the islands of light. We have now set the tone for the ceremony Autumn Song with Jay Schwed. Now bring your consciousness back into the room where you're sitting. Take a deep breath, becoming aware of your body. And as you release, just open your eyes whenever you're ready. And whenever you are complete, open and realize you are alert and aware here and now for the ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Burrow, for that incredible opening ceremony. Nicely done, sir. Thank you, thank you. My heart rate went from 160 down to 120.
Yay!
Thank you so much. All right, now I'm going to introduce our beautiful chant leader, and she just so happens to be Dina Marie Efferson Williams, my lovely, beautiful wife. And I'm going to adjust the camera here now for her so we can all see her and step out of the picture. So here she is.
And I'm going to move the chair as well.
Move the chair.
And good evening. It's so good to see all of your beautiful faces. And just know I'm giving you a big virtual hug. I miss you. I miss you. But we're here together now. And as we begin, as always, we're going to do the Om Shanti today. So if you'd like to stand up where you are, if you have something to play and rattle, if you have your drums, hit them and clank them. If you have to do this with your headset in your ear, your bobs or whatever they're called, so you're not disturbing others, that's okay too. But here we go. Let there be peace in my mind. Let there be peace in the earth. Oh, Shanti, oh, Shanti, oh, Shanti, Shanti, oh. 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 Oh, Shanti, oh. Peace within my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace within my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace within my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace within my mind, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om 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 Om Shanti Om. Peace within my heart, God and only God is using me. Peace within my heart, God and only God I live to see. Peace within my heart, God and only God is moving me. Peace within my heart, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om 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 Om Shanti Om. Peace within the earth. Peace within the earth. God and only God is moving me. Peace within the earth. God and only God I live to see. Peace within the earth. God and only God is moving me. Peace within the earth. God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti. Looking good. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om Om Shanti Om Om Shanti Om. Namaste.
Woohoo!
Awesome. You guys look beautiful. Wonderful.
Go right.
Okay, that was great. That was fun. It was almost as if we were together. And thank you all for participating. Welcome again to our full moon meditation ceremony. I have the pleasure and the joy of presenting to you tonight's speaker musician because back in the early 90s, actually 90, I opened up a video store in the town of Acton. And when I opened up that store, it was my blessing to have wonderful relationships with everyone who walked in the door. Well, one of those people who walked in the door was Jay. And he came in with one of my regular customers. And we met there and we had a wonderful interchange over the counter of my video store while they were returning a movie. 10 years pass. Now, I'm going to say it again. 10 whole years pass. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Life brings you opportunity. And if you don't step into the opportunity in the moment it's presented, we get another one. He circles back around in my life again. We meet up in hypnotherapy school. We're both in this long course. It's going on. But he made it because of who he is, his person, his willingness, his openness, his devotion, his dedication to the spiritual path. I was so intrigued. I had to know, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? How do you do it? How do you do it? And what I wound up was, this is my Reiki master. So Jay, I'm presenting to Spiritual Unity Movement, is more than just a Reiki master. He's a hypnotherapist. He's a he does yoga. He'll tell you about who he is and what he's done. But lots of the information that he's going to share with you tonight, you may have heard before, but there's going to be a dimensional aspect of it that's a little bit different. So I'm inviting you to open your ears, open your heart, receive, and enjoy Jay Schwed. Enjoy. Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so honored to be here, and thank you, Dina, for the nice introduction. It was actually when I was 8 years old, my friends began calling me and telling me their problems. You know, and I'm an 8-year-old thinking, oh, what do I know? But my friends would say, whatever you said made me feel better. In retrospect, many years later, I realized that it wasn't what I said, it was the vibrational frequency of my voice that brought healing to the children. And so that marked the beginning of my journey as a healer, going through the tumultuous 60s. All the women knew that if they were with me, they were safe from drug abuse and all the sexual abuse and all that going on. And as time went by, it was in 1984 that I took my first massage therapy training at Esalen Institute in Big Sur, California. And the workshop was all about massage, it was all about touch, it was all about polarity therapy. And at first I was kind of resistant to it, but then as the class ended, I found, since I'm kind of ADHD, I found that I finally found something to do with my hands. So I began a journey into the alternative healthcare full-time in 1984, which led into being a Reiki practitioner, Reiki master, and all that. And it was in 1994, I was taking a workshop at Esalen Institute, the birthplace of the Human Growth Potential Movement. The workshop began with the tinctures. And when the tinctures are struck together, it means it's a beginning of time for sacred ceremony, rituals, time for silence. Every day after class, I would go off into the corner and I was enchanted by these magical bells. A week later, I was in a New Age bookstore in Los Angeles, the Psychic Eye bookstore on Ventura Canyon Boulevard, and I saw my first singing bowl, and I thought, you know, why are they selling these salad bowls made out of crystal for so much money? And when the lady struck the bowl saying it's not a salad bowl, it brought me right back to the tinctures, and it brought me even further back to my mom and dad's crystal goblets that we would lick our fingers and rub it around the edge. This is 1994, and within a week I'd ordered my very first set of singing bowls. I didn't really know anything about sound healing. I didn't really know if, you know, other than I was enchanted with these sounds, I needed to get some. Over the next 7 years, I played the singing bowls, and I was being trained in hypnotherapy. And in hypnotherapy school, one day I thought to myself, one day I'm going to discover my hypnotic induction instead of the inferred arm raising, the heavy light, all the other types of hypnotic inductions. Somewhere down the line, I'll do that. So for the next 7 years between 1994 and September 11, 2001, I was playing singing bowls. I started incorporating them into my hypnotherapy practice. And then September 11, 2001, I saw the news of what had happened at Twin Towers. And immediately I knew that it wasn't about Al-Qaeda, it wasn't about Bush, it wasn't about anything other than the scales of light and dark have tilted into the dark, and Twin Towers fell in, and so did everybody else, as we remain in that situation. So I knew immediately that there was something about these singing bowls that restored the harmony and balance. You know, without a whole lot of literature and research out on these singing bowls, I made a commitment on September 11th to do my share by bringing the singing bowls to the park every day in Ojai, California. And before I knew it, people like the morning joggers were jogging by, the walking groups in the town of Ojai, California, and the alcoholics were all there, and people were bringing flutes, and I'm playing bowls and wondering, what's going on? And so as time went by, people started inviting me to their churches, people started inviting me to their homes, and all of a sudden the next community over, and everybody was saying, Jay, you need to share these sounds with the world. And I'm like, but I'm a Taurus, and I need my roots. And somebody said, my new roots will be in the divine. And I'm like, yay, just as long as I have roots. And so I shifted from being a Taurus into being a tourist. So they sound very similar. And so that brought me on a journey of growth and evolution as I left my home, and I spent the next 20 years on the road, living out of the back of my truck, living in parks and Walmart and marinas and wherever I could find a place to sleep, while this thing that I was doing that was growing inside of me took on a shape and a form of its own, which I had no idea what it was. But later in life, I found that in that place of surrender, the journey takes me. In that place of surrender, all wisdom and all knowledge that I began sharing about the singing bowls and sound healing came through me. And I found later in life that as I read about Albert Einstein and Benjamin Franklin, I found that a lot of their information came to them when they were in those higher vibrational meditational states. And so now I'm going to go a little bit into the story of where the singing bowls came into play as a therapeutic tool, used popularly in New England and Europe. It was in the late 1780s, Franz Anton Mesmer, the father of hypnosis, was writing his doctoral thesis, and the doctoral thesis was about a liquid fluid invisible energy that came from the planets and the universe, and it flowed everywhere to everybody. But he found that when people were having illnesses, they weren't in alignment and attunement with these fluid energies. And so as he was laying down the foundation for hypnosis, he was very authoritarian. You will heal now. The energy is flowing to where it needs to flow. This evolved into energy work that he referred to as animal magnetism. And he related this invisible fluid energy that came from everywhere, and the closest thing he found to it was with magnets. So Mesmer started using magnets to do his healing, and he was brushing it up and down people's bodies and putting it on their body parts as he was speaking in a very authoritarian mode. And as things evolved, he realized that the magnets weren't necessary, and then he started just doing hands-on and no voice, just hands-on healing for people. And throughout Europe and even off into India, they started developing these societies of harmony, knowing that these energies were restoring harmony and healing to people. In the late 1700s in Europe, in America, they were doing concerts with the crystal goblets, and Benjamin Franklin saw this and he thought there had to be a better way to do it, and he created a musical instrument called the Glass Harmonica, which is basically a series of singing crystal bowls on a dowel and a foot pedal. And all the composers of that era were writing pieces to be played on the glass harmonica. And if you've heard like the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies, that's played on the glass harmonica. So Benjamin Franklin gets word of what Mesmer is doing in France, and he brought this glass harmonica to Mesmer, saying, Mesmer, this is going to help with your hypnotic induction that they call the animal magnetism. And so Mesmer started using sound healing and vibration as a way to help restore our connection with the planets, with the universe, and the one energy force that flows throughout all things. And so as I traveled through the United States and I was learning about sound and vibration, I was recognizing that more important than my words directing thoughts into different areas of the body, I recognized that the sound and the vibration is going to where it's needed. A good example of where the sound was needed is I might have a heart issue and you might have a heart issue. But just because I say that it's about healing of the heart, it could be that I reach out for love and fail and I end up with energetic blockages, which the psychotherapists call body syndromes. And you might end up with hip problems because you're not supported in love. The next person, it might be when it comes to matters of love, they end up with headaches because, when it comes to love, oh my God, I think I'm going to get a headache from this, or I feel nauseous. And so when I dropped the whole scenario of trying to figure out what people's issues were, where the foundation was, I recognized that the sound and the vibration flew exactly to where that energetic blockage was. And so the energetic blockage was causing people to feel nauseous and angry or depressed or joyful because the sounds were releasing emotional, energy that was blocked up throughout people's bodies. Some people were elated and they'd be doing all these dances and movement, and other people would be sobbing. As I learned how to hold the space better, I learned how to prevent people from throwing pillows and chairs and stuff. And so holding the space allowed everybody to have a beautiful emotional release in a really peaceful way. At the same time, there's all this talk about the different chakras and how they're related. And I realized that our third eye, for instance, the musical note A, needs grounding in it. Some people need to have a more grounded vision. So your A would need some C. The next person might need to communicate more about their life vision with a little bit of G. So they'd have some little bit of C to ground their communication about their life vision. And so I found as I studied further and I grew and learned that each of the chakras needed each of the musical notes. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So instead of just sticking to A for the third eye, I was introducing all sounds, knowing that each person, each place needs a different vibration for their third eye. So as things went by, one night Spirit came to me and gave me instructions on what I call today the octavial repatterning process. And what it is recognizing that not only do we have 7 chakras, but as we follow the acupuncture tradition, in acupuncture, they have thousands of energy centers, chakras. And so I see that instead of 7 chakras, we have thousands of chakras. And I took it a little bit further until I recognized that every cell of our body is a chakra. Every cell of our body has mitochondria, which is the energy center, and DNA, which is the representation of how that cell operates. And so I found that in a place of disharmony, what happens is the cells in your elbow no longer work and you end up with tennis elbow. So getting back into the whole cellular memory thing, I found that since each chakra needs each note, I recognize that each cell of our body also needs each note, but I went into each octave. So I'm using 8 octaves representing earth all the way up to heaven, so that when I'm doing my octavial repatterning sequence, each region of your body is getting exactly what it's needed. And as we release the traumas, the cellular memories, it takes our cell from being in a dysfunctional state to performing at its optimal function. At our optimal state of function, what happens is it activates the dormant chromosomes, which lead to telepathy, higher levels of consciousness, higher levels of awareness. And so with the octavial repatterning, it was about clearing out the cellular memory in our bodies. And that seemed really fine and cool to me until I went a little bit further. And I recognized that these people had just come to this ceremony, the sound bath, the sound healing, and they felt really great. But then they went home, and as they're going home, they're dealing with traffic. They're going home to a house that they hate, or maybe going to a job that they're really not happy with. And so I realized that not only is every cell of our body a chakra, but every atom in existence is a chakra. And so in order to have complete and total healing, it requires us to not only bring healing to ourselves, our environment, our home, and our workplace. It becomes a shift of recognizing that one sound bath isn't going to heal the world. It's going to be about restoring and elevating your vibrational frequency into the place that's connected to Jesus, connected to God, connected to Buddha, who all were living in much higher vibrational planes. And so as I'm learning about this whole process, I'm recognizing that we can shift from being mastered by our experience to becoming the master of our experience by recognizing our experience is the vibration that we're at. So going a little bit further into the future, there's a great American, Albert Einstein. And as Albert Einstein was doing his meditations, he was going into this really deep meditative state where he saw on blackboards the theories of relativity, and he memorized these theories of relativity. And when he came out of this meditation, he wrote down the theories of the relativity, and the scientists were like, how did you do that in such a short period of time when we've been working on these things for like eons? And so Albert Einstein found that all things have a vibrational frequency. And so later in life, and on my Facebook page, when you join me as a Facebook friend, you'll find letters from Albert Einstein to his daughter where he talked about the highest vibrational frequency of all is love. And so Albert Einstein in his theories of relativity spoke about the vibrational frequency of metal is different than the vibrational frequency of wood. Rock is different than water. Love is the highest. So from that, I recognize that if love is the highest vibration, then hatred is the lowest vibration. If abundance is a very high vibration, then poverty is a very low vibration. If deceit and corruption are very low vibrations, honesty and integrity are much higher vibrations. And so I found that we're living in a vibrational experience that we can learn to become masters of. So if you're really tired of living in poverty, by shifting your vibration, it quiets down the noise of the poverty that seems to be permeating every cell of your body. When I first started playing singing bowls publicly on September 11th, I was finding that nobody was giving me feedback, and I really needed some feedback. And I'm like, why isn't anybody giving me feedback? And I'm thinking, yeah, because they're just here to humor me, and I'm like feeling really embarrassed. I wanted to, curl up into a ball and hide because I was embarrassed because I was just being a fool. And I found over a period of time that voice never spoke within me, and I was releasing being a fool, people just humoring me, no respect, no understanding. So I learned through that whole journey that as I release all this stuff, it no longer speaks within my body. One of my big issues when I was growing up as a child was whenever anything would happen, everybody blame it on me, or whenever I shared an opinion, everybody would say I'm full of it. And so I ended up feeling like a big piece of shit. Huge. And as I'm working with the singing bowls, and that was dissipating, I shifted and I broke away from that huge piece of shit into a bunny turd. And so like each emotion, each aspect of our body that's bringing in negative energy, what happens is a sound, as it begins to peel the layers of the onion, what happens is it begins to release these emotions until I reach out for love successfully. You know, abundance flows to me effortlessly because I no longer have that program, in not only my subconscious script, but in my cellular script. I can reach out for abundance and achieve it. I can walk successfully into success. And so I've devoted myself from not only doing the sound baths, but to building teams of sound healers across the world for people that are interested in bringing the sound and vibration to the community. So in the midst of coronavirus, I've been doing Zoom classes where I teach people online how to play singing bowls in their communities, in their countries, effortlessly. The sound quiets the ego, which allows us to receive from spirit. You know, and as we raise our vibration and we clear out all that noise, everything we need is going to come to us. When I play the singing bowls and I speak, the sound waves carry my messages, my lessons, into the vibration of each of your bodies. As we're doing this through what we call the internet, I call it the World Wide Web, but I also call it the grid. So what people don't really understand is that without these singing bowls, there would be no internet. We wouldn't be here tonight. The silicon chips that are transmitting energy from one computer to the next through the World Wide Web were created inside of the singing bowls. And they created this process where they take large crystal bowls, 100% crystal. They have a crystal dowel inside. And what they do is they pour the silicon powder and a chemical solution in there. As it's stirred up, it begins to crystallize on the dowel. And then the dowel, they cut that into the silicon chips. And so just as singing bowls are transmitting my energy through to you, our computers are transmitting energy from one to the other. And sometimes you may have noticed that you might send a message of love and affection to somebody, but it's completely misinterpreted because it's picking up on your underlying current of, I'm really angry because I just lost my job. Hi, I love you. And you misinterpret my message because under the surface of who I am is sending the message of, anger and pain. So these singing crystal bowls, as we're sending the sound and the vibration through this thing that I call the grid, what it's doing is it's repairing the grid that's been affected by environmental factors, pollution, industry, and all that. It's helping to clear out the gook that is built up inside of the grid. As I traveled around the US and Canada for over 20 years, I can see the grid clearing. So where we are today is in a lot better place than we were 20 years ago, even though it may not appear that way sometimes. So as I continue to travel, building teams of sound healers was really interesting because it was not my intention, but in surrender, I evolved from being a sound healer, doing private sessions or doing small and large groups, to building these teams so that instead of everybody's waiting for Jay to come back to town again, there was a Jay in every town. So it's the miracle of what comes through me in that place of surrender. At the ending of the Mayan calendar, the crystal pyramids made their appearance. It's a fusion of the ancient pyramids with the crystalline energy that was permeating, I think it was about 7-8 years ago. And so at the ending of the Mayan calendar came the crystal pyramids. Now, the singing bowls were having an effect on the cellular memory, and we were having a lot of emotional release. But when the crystal pyramids came along, it started releasing brain waves and thought patterns that no longer served a higher evolution. And with the pyramids, I put them over people's heads and create this really beautiful vortex of energy. And people were finding that their way of responding to given situations was completely different than it used to be. So the crystal pyramids were taking on and bringing forward a whole new energy that accentuated what was going on with the crystal bowls, and we started thinking new thoughts. Clearing out brain traumas, clearing out programs. And this is just a beautiful crystal Merkaba pyramid. Not your traditional Merkaba, but it's the pyramid facing down. As I play it, it brings down the energy from the heaven right to the point that spins on top of people's bodies. And the point that's facing upwards, the upper facing pyramid, is extracting or releasing old energies that are living inside people's, sending up to heaven to be neutralized. This is a special bowl. It's a Lemurian seed, carrying the Lemurian energy, along with the intention set when it was created to carry the energy of Saint Germain. It was a very special singing bowl. These singing bowls are called alchemists. They're fusions of crystal and different gemstones. As we all know, the earth has a vibrational frequency, and the different gemstones have more specific frequencies. So the singing alchemy bowls are a fusion of these earth stones, these gemstones, these precious metals, and what it is it's taking the vibration of the gemstones and turning it into a song. So as we sing the song of the singing crystal bowls, what it does, it breaks down the barriers and assists us in reconnecting into the one. It breaks down the barriers that I don't really want to get connected to you into we're all one and we're all connected, not just to each other, but to all things. In Canada, they're very easy, and when I was talking about we're all connected and we're all one, I said that includes styrofoam. And so as we're connected to all things, it's also, being connected to our political environment. It's being connected to the murderers, the pedophiles, and all the people that have committed crimes or what we call crimes against humanity. And as we raise their vibration, it brings them back into the fold, into the oneness. So as I traveled, I spent a lot of time in mental institutions and halfway houses. I go to hospice and recovery centers, helping everybody to return into the oneness. It's fascinating. I've worked with groups of people that are deaf, teaching them how to sing with the singing bowls. As I've worked with a lot of seniors, this is the magical singing bowl. activates the seniors. And I've had a lot of seniors that have really deep states of dementia. This is called the Dolphin Spirit Bowl. When I put water in it, it sings like a dolphin. I found that people are enchanted with dolphins, and one day Dolphin Spirit said to me, I am a mirror of the enchantment that lives within all things. And what I recognized was the enchantment is the life force that lives within all things, whether it be styrofoam, a rock, an old tin can. And so when we send out that love and light to all things, it strengthens and it empowers. So I tell people that I'm an empowerer, empowering the empowered to empower the empowerers. So we're all here to play our part and our role in helping raise planetary vibrations in whatever way we find it necessary, whether it be through art, through singing, through flutes, through drums, through building buildings. Whatever we do, when we do it with passion, the passion of our presentation permeates everything, as I was talking about Octavio repatterning. So before we go into the next phase, I'd like to know if anybody has any questions they might like to ask me before we go into some sound healing. You guys can probably take yourself off mute if you have any questions. And if you can't ask questions here, my contact information is below, and you can contact me directly. I'd love to receive text messages and messages from people, and I love answering questions and doing Zoom and other things. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on, and what I'd like you to do is I'd like everybody to just close your eyes. Find a comfortable resting position, laying down, sitting up, however you may be comfortable. And closing your eyes, and we begin with tapping on our thymus, our high heart. I like to tap on the thymus to open up our high heart to what we're going to be receiving shortly. I'd like you to join me in a sea of ohms as we ground out the energies of every cell in our body. When we came into this light, the angels taught our parents a very sacred song to teach their child. And the instructions the angels gave was that whenever your child needed healing, support, guidance, all they'd have to do was sing the sacred song, and the angels would know who's calling. A lot of parents forgot. The angels that travel with me came to me one day and said, Jay, I'd like you to teach everybody how to sing their sacred song. It's a very simple song. The song is your name. I'm going to begin by singing my name, and I'd like each of you to join me in singing your names. We'll sing our names for a couple of minutes. The singing bowl will get very soft and gentle, and we'll listen for what I call the sound and the song of the angels. And when we hear the song of the angels invite us to join them in singing. So I'd like to begin by singing our names. I'd like each of you to join me, and there's always a way to sing your name. Join me, please. I love Jay. Now I'd like you to join me in the song of the angels. And the song is written in your DNA. So please join. Silent night, holy Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And slowly placing your hands over your heart and Feel the energy moving through, connecting us all to the one, to each other. And as you breathe in deeply, breathe love and light into your life, your lungs, and every cell of your body. And with each breath and with each step you exhale, visualizing that same love and light flowing everywhere. With each breath, with each step. And now let's take a couple moments in silence, allowing the experience to integrate. With the next deep breath, breathing in life force, prana, chi, vitality, passion. Breathe it into your life, your lungs, and every cell of your body. As you exhale and release, visualize that same energy flowing in all directions. To the moon and the heavens above, the stars, the planets, to the north, south, east, and west, and dear Mother Earth beneath our feet, in thankfulness and gratitude for each moment and each breath and each moment. With the next deep breath, slowly beginning to wiggle your toes, your fingers. Beginning to rotate your upper body at the hips, helping to ground out our energies a little bit more. And returning to center with the next deep breath as you exhale. Slowly, gently beginning to raise your eyelids. Slowly and gently beginning to raise your eyelids. The sound and the vibration of singing bowls flow through your body like the river flows to the sea. Removing blockages, clearing obstacles, bringing us into a lighter space, the place of enlightenment when we get rid of our heaviness. As the sounds continue to work through us, each person is very open and very vulnerable. And it's important to remember to honor that sacred space that you've created within yourself and speak more peacefully about things and avoid confrontations or avoid things that might trigger us. Because sometimes when you trigger a person who's been through a sound healing experience, it's like a hurricane. So being mindful and honoring the sacred space at the same time, emotions are being released. It's energy that's being released from our body that we put labels on. It's just energy being released, allowing us to become a much greater vessel for the light to flow through, a greater conduit for divinity flow through us to the world around. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me into your Zoom. Thank you for inviting me here this evening. And it's a memory that I always cherish because I love connecting hearts with people. And even though you're very far away, through the magic of Zoom, we're right here together. So if anybody has any questions or anything they'd like to ask me, is that okay if we open up everybody and unmute everybody? At least a couple questions.
So if you like, go ahead and unmute yourself right now, and you can go ahead and ask Jay a question. And Jay, I do have a question. At one time, we really loved the crystal bowls, and we went into a shop to pick one up, and I didn't realize, whoa, what a kind of a dent that would make in your pocketbook for those crystal bowls. So yeah, those things are quite. They have a pricey tag on them. Can you tell us?
I refer to the.
Yes, go ahead. Oh, you go ahead.
I was going to say that I refer to the singing bowls as sentient beings. I don't believe that you could play the singing bowls. They play you. In that place of surrender, the bowls tell me exactly what to do. I pick up on the group energy and I play whatever it is the energy is calling for. So they're guiding the way. So you can't really play them. They do their thing. I treat them as sentient beings. They're very sacred. They're very honored in my.
I think we have a couple more people that unmuted themselves, so go ahead.
Hi, Jay. This is Leslie. I believe you said that there was a
Leslie.
contact for you in the chat, but I don't see it.
I will make sure I'll post that in the chat for you.
Okay, that would be fantastic. And also, I was curious because you said that you communicated with the deaf with the bowls. How does that work? Do they pick up the vibration?
I was working with a group of deaf people, and I don't know sign language, and I've never really interacted with deaf people. But one of the things is when the ego is quieted down, it allowed me to play bowls, and within 5 minutes, we were singing through the musical scale. Do is the root, all the way up to do is the soul star. And so as I played each note, they felt it, and they gave out a sound that was in alignment with that.
That's awesome.
It's kind of my role. Yes, it's very divine that spirit moves through me to allow me to work with groups of people that are, very unique and very special.
Yeah. So are you.
I've done similar things with autistic children. Thank you. I know that.
Thank you. That's awesome.
I don't really have a question right now because I don't really have a question per se right now because one question will lead into about a 1,000. So I would need about 2-3 hours maybe. No, I'm kidding. But thank you. It was really incredible. I I learned a lot. And I got your contact information. I added you to my Facebook. So I look forward to talking to you one-on-one, because I've been a Reiki practitioner over 20 years, and I do a different heart healing meditation, healing as well. But I've always wanted to incorporate sound, because I think it's such a powerful tool. It's just all together, and it's just another piece that I don't know that I'm looking forward to talking to you about. So thank you. It was amazing.
Thank you.
I do
wanted
sonic
to say something. Hi, go ahead. Thank you. I just wanted to share that when I was chatting with Jay on the phone, he was playing the bowls while we talked through the entire thing, and he still talking, both of us still talking. He suddenly said, "Why don't you just close your eyes?" He closed my eyes. He kept playing. He kept talking, but he kept playing, but he still kept talking. But when he was done, everything on the inside felt different. I wanted to say better, but I don't know if that's the right word, but definitely different. And most especially across throat.
Sure.
Yeah. So thank you again. So have fun, Louise. The conversation will be fun. Yes, it will, Leslie. Yes, it will.
I forgot I'm not on mute. Hi, Dina. Lovely to see you, and Frank.
It's good to see you
Good to
too.
see you.
All of you. Okay.
So I put Jay's contact information in the chat there, so everyone has his phone number and his email address and his website. So again, let's thank you, Jay. Thank you for your presentation tonight. Thank you very much. It was wonderful. And I'd like to remind everyone that we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and all your donations are tax deductible and help go to keep these events going and to help pass love to our speakers like Jay. So please, if you would like to set up a regular tithe, let's see, is Liz
She already
unmuted?
passed. She has it on the
Liz,
chat.
I'm going to have her jump in here real quick. I think she already put it here in the chat message. There she is. Go ahead, Liz.
I did. I just want to say thank you to everybody that does donate. We really do appreciate. We pass it along. We've been able to donate to food banks this year, which, Jay was talking about the vibrational level of poverty. And, we certainly feel that nobody should go hungry. That's just, it's awful. So, we've been able to, through your generous donations, not only are we able to tie something to our speakers and musicians, but we've actually been able to donate this year to 3 different food banks in our various neighborhoods, which has been really nice. So we do appreciate that. There's information in the chat. And, if you want me to come by and pick up cash or a check and give a hug or whatever in the neighborhood, I would be more than happy to do that. So my phone number is in there as well. Feel free to reach out. But thank you all who are able to donate. It is so appreciated.
Yes.
And thank you again for Liz for the beautiful message of the moon. Thank you so much again for tonight. Thank you. And like Jay had mentioned to us about the energy that we received here tonight, it's very important that we carry that energy with us and reflect it out to the people and the souls that we come across. So I would like to now reintroduce Burl. He was going to do our closing ritual. I'm going to ask him to unmute. There he is. All right.
Thank you. I just want to say, Jay, what a joyous experience this has been. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
As we come to the close of our full moon ceremony this evening, let us take a moment to savor the centered focus of healing energy we have generated together. Remember, as you let your own light shine, you simultaneously give other people permission to do the same. Clearly knowing yourself as an instrument of light, a being of spirit, you add one more grain of sand to the scales that hold the balance for our global future. Know that at a certain point, one grain of sand can tip the scales. You in this very moment may be that grain of sand. Let us embody the spiritual power that has been generated and received from the forces of light that guide this service. Let us focus that energy into the group center, allowing it to rise up and pour the blessing out into our world, extending its positive healing effect throughout the awareness of humankind and the consciousness of our planet. We will now sound an extended freeform Om. I will accompany myself with the drum. As the sacred tone pours through you, feel yourself participating, drawing this healing love energy deeply into yourself, sending it out into your life, into our world. As we sound the Om, let us consciously extend our blessing to our planetary life, Mother Earth, including the animals and the trees, the air and the water, as well as to all those who are in need of healing. For those who would like to include into this healing circle, we speak their names together, silently or audibly. And with power, love, and intelligence, let us send out the healing light energy to transform the consciousness of humankind. Om. Om. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you,
Love
Burrell. I would like
Love
to
you.
remind everyone that we are a volunteer organization, and I want to thank you all. Thank
All of you.
all of you for attending tonight. Thank you, the board members, for spending their time tonight and bringing us the service. Thank you very much for our family members joining us. Now let's all come off mute and hoot and holler to everyone. Thank you, Jay.
So much.
Who's sick. Can you pray for Charlie Brown the cow?
Yes, we can pray for Charlie Brown the cow.
Please, because his owner is going to get a vet there, but it didn't look good, and we saw him today, and so we hope that. Well, anyway, thanks. With you guys, it'll help. All right, and it's great to be with you guys. And Jay, thank you for showing us that we can be fully surrendered in bringing our purpose to others and be fully supported with the divine. Thank you, Jay, so much.
Awesome.
Great event. Thank you so much. Should I have a prayer request as well? Should I text it to Florence, or is there?
Yes, please. Yeah, send it to Florence. Text it to Florence. That's perfect. Thank you, Louisa.
But
Or
for
you
those
send it to-
here
you
that may
also
not
can-
be on the prayer list, my friend Jim Cassou is having surgery to restore his sight on Thursday.
Wow.
So prayers for Jim
Cool.
Cassou to restore his sight, please, on Thursday morning.
Okay.
And
Got it.
please, if you can send it to also to Florence, but also send it to sumfullmoon@gmail.com. And
I'll do both.
that will get out to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a fabulous month, everybody.
Enjoy.
It was beautiful. I'm gonna go see the full moon now. Thank you.
That's
Peace
right.
and love,
Thank
everybody.
Yeah,
you.
go outside
Yeah.
and check it out. It's
Go see the full moon.
amazing.
It's an amazing full moon tonight. Go out and check it out.
I'm on my way.
Okay.
Thank
Are
you.
on my way too.
Okay,
Bye,
enough.
Tina. Bye, guys. Bye, Louise.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye,
Good night, all.
I know Kathleen's in there somewhere.
I hear her.
There's her hand. Yay, Kathleen.
There she is.
All right.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much.
See you soon.
Okay.
All right.